Weirdos, boils and ghouls. Yes, the hair is down. And somebody's noticed that when the hair's down, I tend to rant. Rant incoming. So, the more I do this debunking, the more I call people out, the more people fire back. And you know what? You're well within your rights to fire back, just don't be a dick about it. Now, people will say things like, hey, you're a dick to Lee. Hey, you were a dick to Laney and Ben. Yes, but those people are not just faking paranormal activity, they are scamming people, they are conning people. They're lying on a weekly basis to provoke an emotional reaction from people. People who are going through grief, who are suffering from loss. Same thing, but you know what I mean. And that's why I go at those people harder. And I tend not to call other people names and all the rest of it, because whilst faking paranormal activity on your channel when you're out doing your ghost hunting is an insult to my beliefs, it's not as offensive to me as scamming people into thinking that they can contact their deceased loved ones through Alexas and all the rest of it. And Lenny and Ben, if you are watching this, stop copying Lee's content. His is bad enough without you cocking yours up as well. But this rant isn't about Lenny and Ben or Really Haunted or people like that. This rant is about the people that call themselves paranormal investigators and they're not. Not by any stretch of the imagination. What they are ghost hunters. Entertainment ghost hunters, who for the most part, every one of the channels that I've watched of these people, don't care for the paranormal. They care for views, they care for clicks, likes, and ad revenue. It's as simple as that. Now, if you're sat there thinking I'm talking about your favourite channel, then maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. There are channels out there that while I don't enjoy what they do, they're not outright trying to upset people. They're just trying to get some sort of momentum. And while I don't like it, you know. So this is kind of a stop it and a look at the work that the real paranormal guys do. Now, I'm not going to get too heavy into what the real paranormal guys do, because I've had some discussions with the Ouija brothers, Ghosts on Trent, Exploring the Entity. There's a few more that I need to speak to, because I'm putting together my own documentary. And that documentary is going to go in depth into the time these people spend doing things, the money it spends, their equipment, time away from the family, etc. All to come up with a weekly 20-minute video where for the most part, not a lot happens. And then I respect these channels that do that, because they, for the most part, have nothing ever happen and they still make weekly entertaining content. I've got time for that. I've got respect for that. But there's more and more of these channels popping up and they're like, yeah, we're the real deal. And they're not. They faking Estes methods. They faking EVPs by dragging their foot across the floor, squeezing the actual voice recorder, and they're buying a specific voice recorder that was recalled for not being fit for purpose. These things are selling for thousands of pounds now, because the people that own the original batch know the ghost hunters want to use them because of Zach Baggins and people of that ilk. So what's triggered this rant? I saw something today. We've been here for 2 hours and nothing's happened. This house ain't haunted. Bitch, please. That was for you, Jenny G. You cannot, at all, as a paranormal investigator, turn up to any property within 2 hours and claim this is not haunted. If you go to a property that is a cottage, 2 bedrooms upstairs, 2 rooms downstairs, 2 up, 2 down, quite easy to investigate, noise will travel, easy to pinpoint, etc. Even then, after 2 hours, you can't say this isn't haunted. At the same point, you can't, after 2 hours, unless something is levitated in front of your face, got thrown at you and a ghost has run past, say it's haunted. Investigations take time, effort, equipment, common sense, because sometimes these places are not haunted. In fact, I would go as far as to say oftentimes places are not haunted. I mean, I mean, look at some of the recent trends amongst people that are claiming to be real, where everyone was going to the same house to speak to the same ghost, and certain channels were getting the same activity, as in loads of it, and it turns out they were in the wrong house. There was no exorcism, there was no murder, the person that was unalived a distance away and had a loose connection to the property that people have been investigating. And weirdly enough, the real paranormal investigation teams had been in there time and time again and got nothing. Why is that? It's because they're honest. The same applies for the house that's in mid-Wales. Welshpool to be in fact, called Sally's house. There was no exorcism. There was no little girl, unalived there. In fact, it's well documented, and the owner, or the old owner of the house, has been on Facebook quite pissed off, saying, actually, no, Premier Inn bought my house, pretty much turfed me out, so I left what I didn't want, and F them, I moved out. That's the story. No deaths, no exorcisms, nothing. Now, I understand some teams may go there based on the stories told to them via YouTube and think that that is the history. But it didn't take me long to find that information out. Now, there's a recent place I've been to where a few teams are getting paranormal activity. I've investigated there, and I experienced some really bizarre things most of the night. I've done some homework, or I've tried to do some homework. I can find nothing about the place other than when it was sold. And, you know, it was empty for a bit. That's it. We have no proof that that place has had any deaths. No reason for a haunting, but then my house has no reason for a haunting. Things happen here. And when I say things happen here, I have lived here for 10 years, and we keep a diary of certain things. So take 2023, we are 10 months in, we're at the end of 10 months into 2023, and I can tell you how many things have been moved in this house that people have seen this year. Two. One was actually this morning, while me and Mrs. Geek were having a conversation about this haunted farm I'd been to, and a picture frame that has been on the fireplace for weeks and weeks and weeks threw itself off. Did the heating come on, expand the frame? Did it pop off? Possibly, but I doubt it. Could it have been something paranormal? No, in this house? Possibly, especially considering the conversation we were having. Prior to that, the last thing we saw get moved, I didn't see it myself, but Dean was sat in this room. I was editing, trying to show him how I edit, how I go through the footage, how I sync everything up, and then he goes white, and then I look out of the corner of my eye and I just see the tail end of my equipment falling over out in the next room. Through the door, I just saw it fall over. It was leaning this way against the concrete wall, and it fell that way. Dean just sat here like, please tell me you saw that. And I was like, yeah, that kind of thing does happen here. The smell of boot polish in this house. It happens 2 or 3 times a year. We have called Corgi registered gas engineers out, plumbers out, my dad, Mrs. Geek's dad, just to try and work out what the hell this smell is, because we weren't concerned about a ghost. We were concerned about carbon monoxide or something along those lines, or turning the cooker on and going boom. That's happened 3 times this year. Now, the odd flickering, noises, walking, whatever, we get things like that, but most of the time we put that down to a house settling. This isn't an old house. Nobody that we know has ever lived in this house has died here. There is no reason for it. But say one of your channels decides to come and do a paranormal investigation here. You can't walk in here and go, right, there's a living room, dining room, kitchen, 4 bedrooms, conservatory, stream room, junk room, garage. Walk around for 2 hours and go, it's not haunted, because nothing happened. That's not how the paranormal works. Therefore, you don't know how the paranormal works, so you are not paranormal investigators. What you are most haunted fans with fuck all else better to do. It is ridiculous. For somebody, like, let's use the farmhouse that I recently went to as an example. You've not seen me there yet, but you'll have seen the Ouija brothers there, you'll have seen Ghosts on Trent there, you'll have seen Exploring the Entity there. That place has probably got in excess of 10 rooms. So how could a paranormal investigator or even a team of 2, 3, or 4 people go to a property of that size with a camera each, and they say after 2 hours, this property is not haunted. Nothing has happened. How do you know nothing has happened? For one, you haven't got enough people per room. You don't have enough camera equipment to cover angles per room. Something could happen off camera and you were unaware. Now, that's not your fault. It's difficult to capture the paranormal. But to say it's not haunted after 2 hours, it's a load of shit. And then to argue your case further, say something as stupid as, this is the only place I have never been where after 2 hours there has been no paranormal activity. Now you're probably sat there if you're watching this thinking, shit, he's talking about me. Yes, I am. Who the hell are you to sit there and say, this ain't haunted, I've been here for 2 hours. Every other building I have been in is haunted. Absolute bullshit. It's a fabrication, a lie. Absolute crap. It's impossible. Or you would be up for a Nobel Peace Prize because you can prove life after death without a shadow of a doubt. And you cannot. I'm not going to sit here and say your channel is real or fake because I've not watched any of it. I just got sent, have you seen this? And I'm like, shit, I know that house. I've been in that house. Funny how a house that 4 paranormal investigation teams have gone into that really get anything actually get something. And 4 of us all get the same kind of thing. And then one of these channels pops up like, this house ain't haunted. Now, I'm not going to name the channel. I'm not going to call the channel out because they're not that big a channel. And until I know without a shadow of a doubt whether they're real, whether they're fake, whether they are just trying to stir it up for views, I'm not going to pass judgment. If I go onto your page and there's, I don't know, I could scroll through your videos in a couple of seconds to get to the bottom. You're no expert in the paranormal at all. No, maybe you're just naive. Maybe some of these channels are just naive. They're just starting out. But to defend yourself with every place I've ever gone is haunted, except this one. You seem to be calling out a lot of people that are doing good work. And it's come from nowhere, if I'm honest, because... Mitch Poole, thank you for subscribing. If you've only got a handful of investigations, or say under 100 investigations, for you to claim that every place you have ever been in 100 locations is haunted, except one after 2 hours, it's insulting, it's ludicrous, and it seems to me designed to try and stir the pot for some reason. Now, as far as I know, your channel has never been called out by anyone. Nobody has ever given you any shit, and they're not going to do it now because I'm not going to say who you are. But once I've looked at some of your footage and I assess whether you're real or fake, for me, then maybe I'll give more of an opinion. But I don't understand where that comment of 2 hours came from. It makes no sense. No paranormal investigator worth their salt would ever say this isn't haunted after 2 hours. What you fail to understand is, you could go to 30 East Drive and make of 30 East Drive whatever you will. I don't care whether you believe or don't believe in 30 East Drive. There's more documentation of hauntings at 30 East Drive than most places. You could go there 7 days a week for a full week, 24/7, and not capture a damn thing, because that's how the paranormal works. Or you could go there, and in your first hour, something flies across the room, and you're like, shit, this is haunted. And even then, you've got to be careful before you say, this is haunted, because you need to go and look at what's just flown, why it flew, how it could have flown. Break it down, analyse, look with logic and common sense before you say, it's a ghost. And whatever's left could be that it's paranormal. And before you sit there going, look at this armchair paranormal investigator, what does he know? Just because I've only got a few paranormal investigations on my channel doesn't mean I haven't been paranormal investigating for longer than you've been drawing breath. But I went to 30 East Drive, not a lot happened. In fact, nothing really happened. There was a few EMF spikes, a few weird noises. Other than that, nothing. Did I then have the audacity to say, this place ain't haunted, it's full of shit, I want a refund? It's not how the paranormal works, there's no guarantees with it. If it was, it wouldn't be the paranormal, it would be the normal, ghosts are real, and we know it, we can prove it whenever we want. Now, you may be sitting there thinking, hey, you're an armchair paranormal investigator, you're a debunker, you just sit in a studio calling things out. Absolutely not. I am a paranormal investigator. And yes, recently I have been recording my investigations, but I have been out with the legitimate teams. I have been to reportedly haunted places. And I've heard some bizarre stories from these places. Not about the paranormal activity, but for example, my haunted hotel. I've gone there twice, I've stayed there twice, I've investigated there twice. The stories of people booking the night there, and then 30 minutes later asking for a refund and leaving because nothing happened, is everything that's wrong with the paranormal. You see, too many of you have grown up watching Zach Baggins, Yvette Fielding, and all them lot, faking shit for so long that you think the paranormal activity just happens on tap, on command. I've never seen anywhere or anyone that can produce the tap-in phenomena in direct response at every location they go to. Yvette Fielding is full of shit. She cannot do it. It's trickery. She's been at it for 20 years. Now, have I heard knocks on response? One time. One time. And it wasn't in this house. It was at that farmhouse that you said is not haunted after 2 hours. We had knocks on response. We had voices. We had the sounds of people moving and walking about that house. And still, I have never said that house is haunted. And you will see the video when it comes out. And you'll see me at the end. Carl from Exponenti says to me, so do you think this house is haunted? And I go, ooh, it's odd. It's definitely not normal. But is it haunted? I don't know. But we've eliminated that it's a rat or a raccoon. We don't get raccoons in the UK. But that wasn't after 2 hours. That was after 4.5 hours of travelling. 5 hours investigating. And we were going to do another location on the way back. But I didn't get in until 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Just so I could go out with a team that I trust to investigate the location that has piqued my interest, and I'm going back there. As soon as I can get Parple and the Ouija brothers at the same time, we're all going back there. Because the place potentially could give us what we want. We have seen some fantastic evidence coming from there. And then somebody with a flippant comment wants to shit all over that because they have paranormal activity everywhere else they go. Everywhere. No, you do not. If your claim is that you get paranormal activity everywhere you go, you are talking out of your ass. It doesn't happen like that. There are people that comment on all of my videos. I'm a paranormal investigator. I'm a paranormal investigator. I don't have a channel, but I do paranormal investigating. It doesn't work the way these people are telling you. In fact, there's a comment I want to read out. This comment. I've done over 630 investigations. I've been around the paranormal all my life, and in 52 years, I have never seen all hell breaking loose like some of these videos on YouTube investigations. And that sums it up. I see people doing the Estes method, and they can clearly hear the person asking questions who stood inches from them. You can't hear the Estes, or you can't hear the spirit box in the headset. That sets alarm bells ringing. I have seen wires, I have seen people throwing stones, I have seen things move from behind a mask, I have seen mask slips, I have found so much evidence of fake crap out there that it is diluting the real paranormal, and it is making people think that the real paranormal is what all of these channels are portraying. And then this is why I'm going to be doing a documentary with these real channels, the people I trust. Because they put so much work into it. They spend so much money, so much time, so much effort into conducting legitimate paranormal investigations to 9 times out of 10 come away empty-handed and still produce a quality video, that the second they get something, there's always some bellend in the comments going, huh, that's fake. Really? You think these channels, after 7 years of keeping it real, being honest, are going to fake a voice? And then say, do you know what, that might not have been paranormal, but it's weird, let's try and work out what it is. Let's invite a debunker onto a live stream and work out what it is. Hey, there was a voice in that video too. That's fake, because your camera wasn't looking the right way. Why didn't you show the second camera? And then what do the real paranormal channels do? Hey, Beardo, here you go. Here's access to our Google Drive. And before anyone even questions that, somebody questioned something that the Ouija brothers did. The second camera would have proved that somebody was there. So the Ouija brothers were like, cool, Beardo, you're getting asked about it. Here's access to our Google Drive. Go and have a look at the raw footage. And it was exactly that, raw footage. Unedited, hours and hours and hours worth. They didn't just give me access to that one video. They gave me access to their entire back catalogue. Everything that was stored on their Google Drive. Everything. Now, I never poked around in anything I didn't ask permission to poke around in. Because that would have been a breach of trust. They trusted me with every shred of footage on their Google Drive. I've asked other people for the uncut footage. And I've been given cut footage, edited footage, and this is the uncut footage, but there's nothing either side of it because I don't keep it. You're at a paranormal event and you don't keep the raw footage. That smell is in the air again. That is bullshit. Now, I am not looking to start a war or any drama, but other people are starting to pick away, and other people are starting to chirp in and pretend they're the font of all knowledge when it comes to the paranormal. If you think you can provide the answers to a haunted or potential haunted location after 2 hours, you have no fucking idea what you were talking about. You have no right to shit on everybody else's work. And what you've not realised what you've done with that one sentence there is told every channel you've ever worked with, willing to work with, or investigated the same properties as you days later. You've told all of them that if they don't get anything in 2 hours, they're wrong. It's not haunted. They're fake. Your comments are really, really stupid. And whatever your plan is with these comments, and then to put them out on Facebook, knowing it'll get back to people like me and the legitimate channels, I fail to understand, because for the most part, most of us went, how can you tell after 2 hours? Are stupid. I have spent 15 hours in locations. 15 hours. I spent 15 hours in the hotel twice. 15 hours at East Drive once. I have gone to a castle, not that far from me, that is reportedly haunted. Numerous sightings of shadow figures, all sorts of urban legends attached to it. I've investigated there 5 times this year. Have I brought out videos every time? No, because I wasn't happy with my old camera, wasn't happy with the sound. I've got one on my hard drive that I am going to be putting out, but not a lot happened. In fact, I don't think anything happened in any of them until I checked the footage properly. Some of them we binned because they were boring, some of them we binned because of noise pollution, blah 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 blah. But I'm not going to say, hey, that place ain't haunted, because it's still under investigation for me. It's somewhere close enough that I can go to whenever I've got a bit of spare time and potentially capture something. I ain't going to go there and after 2 hours I haven't heard so much as a gnat fart and go, it's not haunted, let's go home. Why would you do that? Is it because of that murder house wasn't really a murder house? Is it because, what's the other one that everyone's banging on about? Sally's house never had an exorcism. Is it because Amityville isn't in the UK? Is it because all of the stories attached to all of these properties that people keep going to are being proved to be not true? Now, if you are a legitimate paranormal investigator, you're investigating a place, you're getting little things here and there, and then you see somebody like myself or Ghosts on Trent or Exploring the Entity dig up some history and go, actually, the stories of this place are not true, they are wrong. As a legitimate paranormal investigator, you should be thankful and be like, shit, that's why it's so quiet. At least we know. But still, there's something there, there's something going on. Maybe it warrants further investigation, because like I said, just because nobody died there doesn't mean it's not haunted. What was there before? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Much love to you all. Beardo out. Subscribe if you really want to.